Hey, good morning, everybody. If you didn't make it to class, this video you're about to watch shows you how to paint a pineapple or add color to a pineapple or anything else in a program called Pixlr. And it's a really cool program that's free. It operates in the browser and it teaches you a lot of things that are transferable to other programs like Photoshop. And yeah, it's a great place to start building your skills. So enjoy the video, and here it is. If you see that pineapple there, I'm going to teach you how to take something that's just a black and white drawing and color it like that pineapple. If you've taken my media arts class before, you've done this, you've colored this exact same pineapple in Photoshop. But I thought about it and I think, the skills that I learned from this and the way things are different in Pixlr will be a good exercise for you to try doing it in Pixlr, so you get to use the different tools in that way. So here we go. I should say what we're doing this is leading up to drawing your own pictures, putting them in here, and then coloring those pictures. So that's what we're working towards. So the first thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get this file on your computer. It's this one right here, and the way that you do that is inside the assignment over here. Everybody will have a copy of that they can click on, open it up here. I'm going to make my face smaller here because we don't need to see me anymore. In the top right hand corner, there's these three little dots. You have to click on that and open it in a new window. Once you've done that, it will let you download the image for yourself. So this little arrow pointing down here, that's the download button. So I'll click on that, baby, and it comes up at the bottom here. Now it's on your computer. For my computer, it's in the download file. So you'll have to figure out where in the computer your files download to, but that should be easy enough. And then you're going to go to Pixlr Photo Editor. If you don't know how to get to it, just type in the URL pixlr.com. And if you're still confused, you can go back to yesterday's video, and it's one of the first things that I show you how to do. For today's, I'm going to go back to the house so you can see this. For today's assignment, we're going to use Pixlr X because we don't need any of the tools that Pixlr E offers, and Pixlr X is just a little bit more straightforward. So make sure that you're on Pixlr X, which I am, but I clicked it anyways, so that you can see you can change up here. And then you're going to go to Open Image because the image is on your computer. So I click Open Image. I find it in my files. Here you go. You can see that I've downloaded it a few times now. So that's how many times I've practiced making this video. Open. And here we go. So the things that we're going to be learning about. Well, we started talking about layers yesterday, but we're going to do a little bit more work with layers. And we're going to use this mask, this cutout mask tool. We started using that yesterday too. And we're going to use the paintbrush in a lot of different ways. And there's something about layers called blend modes. And we're going to learn a little bit about these blend modes too. So the one we're going to use is multiply. But the first thing we want to do is duplicate the layer. So to do that, I'm going to right click on the layer, and my face is in the way. I'm going to go down here and click on these two squares here, and that duplicates it. So now I've got two layers, and you notice that it just got darker. It's because multiply is already on. Normally, if I bring it to none, then you just see the one layer. But by putting multiply on, it's kind of combining the two layers. That's why it's getting darker. Now, you won't see a lot of difference in these because there's no color yet, but all of these different blending modes blend the pictures together in different ways and have some really cool effects. I don't know what this mask one is. Anyways, I'm going to go to multiply. whenever you're doing work on Photoshop, you can always play around with those and just see what the effects are. And, sometimes you just stumble upon something that's really cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I'm on this top layer. So I'm already on there. And then I'm going to click on the cutout to remove background. Click that, and you have these options. Now, yesterday we were using the draw cutout. Today, because this background is completely white, we're going to use the magic cutout. And anytime you're working with anything with a big solid color space, you can use this, and it's really cool because it's so quick. I want to make sure that I have the mode here set to remove. I'm just going to click here. And if you look at the layer now over here, you can see that the background is gone. So if I click to get rid of that layer, this is now you can just see the one top layer that we're working on. The background's gone. And if you look, just a side note, if you look at the edges here and how they're, a little bit of a white rim, that can be adjusted by tolerance. If we turn the tolerance way up or way down, it affects that. So you play around with the tolerance if you want to get that perfect. For the case of today's assignment, you don't really need to worry about that, but for future assignments, you will. So I'm going to zoom back out so I can see the whole thing, and I'm going to get this layer back because I want to see the bottom layer. We're going to color on the top layer. Because we've selected multiply, it's going to put that color, lay it over the back, and we're going to see the lines come through. So let's get to it. Using the paintbrush. So the paintbrush over here, I'm going to pick a color by clicking this spot right here that is kind of like a pineapple color. Somewhere, so I can adjust the color here, and then within the color, I can get more specific by clicking something here. I want a little bit more orange. Okay, I like that. And yeah, I like that color right there. So I've got my paintbrush. I can make the paintbrush size bigger for this, cover some more area. And then I just start painting, and watch this. When I go over the edge, don't have to worry about coloring inside the lines. So that's the first step, and probably the most important step when it comes to coloring anything in Pixlr or Photoshop. Because you're doing it on a computer, you don't have the same kind of dexterity as you do when you're doing something by hand to color inside the lines. So you'll use the Photoshop tools to make it work better for you. So now I'm going to zoom in a bit, and I'm just going to get in these touchier areas, I'm going to shrink the size down a bit. Not worrying too much about perfection at this point because I'm going to get in and start coloring with the green a little bit later. So I've got my yellowish color for the pineapple. Now I need a green for the leaves, and I kind of like that one that was already selected. Maybe you want to darken it a bit. So let's go in, and I'm just going to color over everything up here. And just like the bottom, when I go over the lines, it doesn't matter. I don't really like this color, but it will do. Make that bigger. And you know what? This is a kind of a brighter green, so it'll be good when it's just my highlights. Make it smaller to get the little bits in here. And really small for the tips. Now I'm going to switch back to this color, and look, it's still there. Clean up. There we go. That's pretty good. And then if you notice, you might get frustrated trying to color this one little spot there. And look at it, just won't color. That's because the mask has taken that out. The auto select, it's not 100% accurate. And I could fix that though, because we use the auto select for that. But if we use the paintbrush and we switch it to keep, it will bring back that area, or it should anyways. See that? Now the mask is 100% there. Okay. So now I've got the basic thing started. Now we just got to add some different shades. I'm going to start by going darker. So back to the brush. I'm going to switch back to the pineapple. I'm going to give this pineapple some shape. Now, the color of the pineapple is not there anymore. Well, I'm going to click here. And what I can do is take this medicine dropper and click somewhere, and it will set that to be the color. I don't want the exact color though. I want something darker. So I'm just going to move this down here. I'm going to turn the transparency down a bit, size up, softness up. So you see that? See how the white dot there gets blurrier edges as I turn the softness up? That will blend everything really good. Now I'm adding a shadow here, and look at that. It's like totally getting round. Now I can do the opposite on the other side where the light's hitting and hit it with some lighter shade. I gotta go even lighter than that. Maybe a little bit lighter. Oh yeah, that looks good. And I actually, now I don't like the middle shade, so I'm gonna hit that up there. And a little darker. Now she's looking good. Okay. And I'm gonna go into the green now, back to the green, and start adding some shape to these leaves. So switch back to the green color, go to the medicine dropper, pick that. Now I'm in the same green. If you want to copy my colors exactly, you can actually just type in this number right down here. So pause it, write that down, and you can use the same color as I'm using. I'm going to take a darker shade of it, and I'm going to make the size smaller because we're doing some finer details. And I'm going to make underneath the leaves darker. I'm actually going to turn the transparency up for this because I want it to be really dark. Anywhere that the light would be not hitting, because if you think about the light being on top, or the light's kind of coming from over here, so everything on this side is going to be darker than this side, and everything on the bottom, like this leaves kind of underneath that leaf, right? So I'm going to add some shade to that, some shade to that, some shade to that. This side's going to be shaded. This side's going to be shaded. This leaf's going to be dark, and so is this one. So getting already starting to look pretty cool, eh? The final thing I'm going to do is a little bit of white and black. So let's go like really light, like almost completely white over here, and hit some of these edges up. maybe a little bit over here, a little bit over here. You just kind of sprinkle that around where the light will be hitting it most. And the same thing, you're going to do the same thing in the pineapple. Let's see. I want to get that again. I'm going to take this color and I'm going to lighten that color up even more. Somewhere like there. I'm going to shrink that. Maybe turn the transparency down a bit. And I'm just going to like frost the tips of some of these. Now this takes quite a bit of time, so I'll stop now. And you'll even get in here. And you're going to do the same thing on the opposite angle. You're going to turn that down to like really dark. And you're going to hit up some of the areas down here like that. And it does the same. And then when you're done, let's take a look at this. This isn't done. You know, you saw my finished one at the beginning, and I can go back to that. But this is what that top layer is looking like. But because it's magnified, okay, when it's blended with that or the multiply blend, it looks like that. Really cool. You can get creative when you're done this, and you can start adding colors into the background. You could cut out the background on this layer, and then you could throw in, you know, you could put this pineapple on a beach. Those are different fun things that you can try to play around with. You want to take one more look at my finished pineapple. It's over here. Wait, that's not it. This is my finished pineapple. And there's actually one step that I didn't show you yet, that I if you notice, that had a little bit more of a redder tinge. What I like to do when I'm done something like this is add, do an adjustment. So if you look on the left here, just going to add like a little bit of a reddish tinge to the whole thing. It ties the colors together. So vibrance, turn it up a little bit. Temperature, let's make it a little bit warmer. Tint, let's turn it down a bit. Hue, look at how we can change the hue, like, and it changes all kinds of stuff, but we just want to do just a little change to it. Saturation. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That's why it's not doing anything. Hold on. Switch it to this layer. Turn vibrance up a little bit. Saturation, now you can see either brings it really bright or dark or gray. Temperature, we're going to warm it up a bit. Tint, we're going to turn down a bit. Hue, we're going to keep the same, but look what happens if you really change it. So put it back to 0. And now we're done. We've applied kind of like a reddish tinge to the whole thing, and it ties the upper, the green and the yellow together a little bit better. So now let's look at the difference. We got that one. That's the one I did quick. If I'm not done yet because I haven't added all the lightness here, like the highlights and lowlights. But here's the one where I've done all of the highlights and lowlights, and you can see how cool it looks. So that's coloring in Pixlr. This is your assignment for today. Have fun with it. Get creative in the background, but try to make the pineapple part of it look as realistic as you possibly can. It's a great practice for using the mask tool. It's a great practice for layering colors and shading and stuff like that. And if you can master this one, you're going to find every other assignment so much easier and so much fun. Hope you enjoy this one. Hope you had fun today, and it was great to see you. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.